We are live. What up, y'all? I know we're live, so some of y'all are watching me actually check to see if I'm live. Like, yo, are you live or are you not live? Which one are you doing? Because it does this weird thing where you can't see that you're live for like 30 seconds. So you're like, yo, am I live or am I not live? You know what I mean? All right, I'm officially live.
That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, if you use StreamYard, if you just use the straight, OBS software straight up, like it'll just, you're good. But if you use StreamYard, you got to wait a couple seconds to see that you're live or not. And then to get into the live broadcast is a whole other thing. All right. Muted on this side. I'm checking myself out. All right, we look like we're ready to roll.
Word up.
All right, let me be done with this or go over to this. All right, real quick intro. What up, y'all? What's in the box? Trek live with the homie Opoetik. I want to do this more often, for real. I think we got to do like some season at least try to put a weekly recap together, maybe. I'm
with it.
Something like that, yo.
I got good responses from our first one, so I'm with it.
Cool. Yeah, you're one of my favorite people to talk about basketball with, so I'm definitely hyped. So we ended with the Clippers, but I do have a few questions before we move forward. Since we're going to start with the Clippers, I'm going to ask you the question I asked you off air. Considering opening night's game against the Lakers, are you ready to give Paul George his props? What's up, Reezy?
I mean, props to the game, sure, but as far as like this upper echelon thing, he's done this before. We talked about it before. It's not like I think we just talked about the TNT. I don't usually watch it, but I ended up watching the end of the game. And I saw the first part, and the first thing Shaq said was, this is what you do. This is what you should do. This is what you can do. And I think that's the consensus across anybody who's ever watched him play, is that this dude has all the tools to be a superstar, but the consistency is not there, especially in the playoffs. And it happened with the Pacers. It happened with OKC. It's happening right now. It happened last season. So I will give him this. I know he's coming off of 2 shoulder surgeries.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. For him to play that well, actually, yeah.
And he supposedly has now had, serious rehab and feeling strong again. So if that's the case, and this is the game he's going to have, then I expect him to average at least 25 points a game, at least.
Well, now that you mentioned that, though, coming off of basically a severe break, leg break, right?
Yeah, the leg and play well.
Yeah. So he's actually recovered from some pretty serious injuries to play pretty well. But I don't know if I don't want to dog him out, but it's still a heart thing with me, and we'll see how it goes. But it's definitely still a heart thing with him.
Just in general with the Clippers, it's a hard thing. Like you can't. I remember the first thing I heard. It wasn't from you, but it's funny because me and you had this conversation about fans in general, and I knew it was going to come as soon as the game was over. Like people were really waiting to push enter for the predictable. You did it last year, it don't matter, or it's one game. And I think that's funny is people will use that when it's applicable to their team.
Sure.
Flip it, then it's like, oh yeah, you suck. Like it's funny, like because everyone will do it. So.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Clipper fans got to stop this, and I know that I get it. I understand. I've never been this person, although I had some short season questions before, but my argument has always been no. Even to myself, look, everybody played the same amount of games. Everybody had the same circumstances.
Yeah.
Everybody had the same opportunities to win. So when I see Clipper fans talking about it was like a Mickey Mouse ring last season, I'm like, but if you would have won that ring, you would have never stopped talking about it. So like, let's not do that. Just give the team that won their props and leave it at that. You know what I mean?
That's what it is. Like you want. I mean, people try to say the same thing about the Raptors. Well, if like there's a lot of in sports. There's ifs. There's a lot of ifs.
Yes, that's the nature of
Whole
the
lot
business.
of hurt. One bad call. Sometimes multiple bad calls. Lights going out. Like all kinds of stuff has happened, man. Like I mean, you just at the end of the day, they all athletes, they all professional, and there's an outcome. And if you ever played sports in your life, you know that everything's not going to go 100% perfect in
It
any
can't.
situation.
It can't. It's not
So
possible.
it's just not like that's why even replay is crazy because you still not going to get 100% because now in the replay there's issues.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did you slow it down too much? Like, because I could slow down a punch. Like, I could punch you and slow it down and make it look way more this or that than it really is. Or I could speed it up and make it look super more vicious. You know what I mean? So,
I'm not buying any team or any team's fan that says anything about a ring that's earned under circumstances. If this player didn't get injured, listen, man, if it went the other way, you be dancing in the streets. You wouldn't, so let's not do that. It's just the reality of the situation. And I think everybody in the bubble had the same circumstances, but backtracking through the Clippers, I want to note the Serge Ibaka pickup because it was an excellent pickup, and I'm going to fold into the Lakers with this one, but I'm going to kind of throw this out here for the Clippers because we have a game to match this up to for the next two teams we're going to talk to, right? Because they just played. So
yeah, right.
I feel like the Lakers inherited the Clippers problem last year. Okay,
which one?
Hear me out.
Okay,
Montrezl Harrell is an amazing six man and probably deserves to be a starter in this league. Straight up and down. What up, J Logic? What's going on, man? I might have to bring J Logic on for a minute, but J Logic is a super Laker fan, and we want to have a general basketball conversation. That's my guy, though, man. I'm glad you're here, Jay.
Peace.
So, and I feel like the Clippers got away from a bit of the problem of when they went underside, when they went small.
I know where you're going.
They were a little too small with Montrezl Harrell. Like, you're talking 6'7", 6'8" on a good day. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when he had to step out and guard like Jokic and players like that, he was able to get out, but he's just too small. But Serge Ibaka is just big enough to cover that error. And then they still have Zubac in case they want to actually play a full-blown center. And then they still have the Marcus Morris, not Marquise. They have Marcus Morris in case they really want to go small and do the whole shooting center thing. So the Lakers actually had that last year. The Lakers were able to throw JaVale in. Then they were able to go with Howard. And now they've kind of inherited this similar problem.
I wrote that down. Me and my pops just had that conversation. My dad, we was talking, and he was like, right now, that athleticism that the Lakers had last year that was different with Howard and JaVale.
Yeah.
It was their ace in the hole.
Yes.
So when Davis flexed out, even when he was taking threes, it wasn't such noticeable because they had another 7-footer in the paint.
Correct.
Now, if Davis takes that three, it's Andre. Like, he's 6'8", he's going to be battling with Zubac or whoever who's 7 foot.
Yeah.
And he's light in the pants in compared to those guys. So that could come back. And Mark is not the dude he used to be.
No, and a lot of people are saying he is. And listen, we've had the argument about Marc Gasol and the trade initially, and I'm sticking with it. I'm not backing away from an excellent Mitch Kupchak trade that made both teams better. I'm buying it. Book it. I'm living with it.
Hey, we're gonna be 75 years old, and we're gonna be sitting on a porch, and this is gonna still be a thing.
It's gonna be a thing.
It's all good.
It's never gonna stop being a thing. It was an excellent trade from Memphis and an excellent trade for the Lakers.
Hey,
Memphis would still be bottom feeding if they didn't make that trade. Period.
All right, yeah, yes. I have never argued the point that it didn't help Memphis. That's never been my argument. I'm just there was some things there. But anyways, before we move on from the Clippers, I wanted to bring up one more player that I even laughed at, but I can see why he's going to be a help to the Clippers.
Let me
And that's
guess.
Nicholas
Luke
Batum.
Kennard. Oh, I thought you said Luke. I thought you were gonna say Luke Kennard. Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, Batum, because the Clippers' biggest problem was a point guard. That was one of their biggest problems, was a point guard, somebody to control and a leader, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I still don't know if they have a leader per se. I think Ibaka can be that because he seems to be more vocal than everyone else. But Batum is interesting because even though he's not the same dude he was with the Blazers, he handles the ball well enough. And he's not selfish with the ball. So he doesn't need to, he can facilitate and get open and not have to do all this extra stuff. And he takes pressure off of George and even like when Beverly's in the game and even when Leonard's in the game, because he can get the ball up and he's a solid ball handler. Plus he's about 6'7". And
this is
and he's a decent defender. And whoever you put him on, or whoever gets put on him, is not necessarily going to be an open court defender. So there's that. I think he's going to help them. I don't know if he's going to stay healthy. That's the only problem.
That's the big deal. He looks a little out of shape from not being healthy over the last season too. But my argument with that is he's 6'7". He's really more of a two. They forced him to be a 3, which I think is ultimately what got him injured because he really was a natural 6'7" 2 more than anything. But he plays in the same spaces as the last, as Patterson, and where he's camped out by the 3, waiting for them to make a play. Luke Kennard is or Reggie Jackson are their hopes. If these two dudes can be playmakers, I'm talking like a guy like what Dennis Schroeder was trying to do for the Lakers the other night. And I know we're blending both teams here. We'll get directly to the Lakers in a minute. But what Dennis Schroeder was able to do, although he was 5 for 15 that night, was he was able to get into the paint when things when the offense wasn't clicking. When the ball movement gets weird and everything looks out of line, your point guard has to be able to get to the rack and make defenders make a decision, right? As a coach, one of the most difficult players on the floor to guard is the player that makes your defense make the decision. If your defense is controlling the offense's ideology, then you win, right? I'll give you that shot. I'll give you that 3. I'll give your 3 that can't really shoot. I'll give him that 15-footer. But if you have a point guard that's like Chris Paul or Rondo, Rondo was at least in the playoffs. Shifting the defense. Kyle Lowry, Reggie Jackson when he was, younger, playing better. The list goes on and on to make the defense make decisions, to make them come over, right? I don't know if they have that. Even in Batum, I don't think they have that yet.
No, they don't.
And that
definitely, they still need it. I just in regards to him, I think he's going to help in regards to just the ball pressure. Now, breaking down defenses. And I don't really trust Reggie Jackson either. So they may run into that problem later.
They might. Well, people are gonna be camped out.
I will say that I think this is the first time I saw Leonard be a little bit more vocal with his teammates. He seemed to be more engaged in loose balls, or if a dude falls on the ground, which to some don't mean anything, but that's, according to his character, that's a big change.
Yeah. Well,
so we'll see.
Patrick Beverly, listen, you mentioned Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka's defensively tenacious. He's older, so it doesn't show as much as it used to. And he's also not a performer. And I like Montrezl Harrell. I'm not dogging Montrezl Harrell. I'm happy to have him as a Laker. I was like, that's an excellent pickup. But what I'm saying is that there is no flexing for Serge Ibaka after the basket. There is no dunk and then look around at the whole world and spin and do a backflip. It's just play the game and get back on defense. And that's why Serge Ibaka is probably more of a locker room leader for the Clippers, and I think that's a bonus for them. They do lose the battery that Montrezl Harrell was, the immediate jolt to the offense and the immediate jolt to the defense, and that's a big loss for the Clippers. But what they gain is a player that just plays the game straight up and down.
Yeah, and I think that he's going to be able to settle cats down.
Yeah,
because when they had two, they had like the Bash brothers in Beverly and Harrell, and no one could be like, all right, fellas, this is not the time. And even George started feeding into it and celebrating and partying with Beverly on the side. So,
right.
And so anyway, but yeah, so that's the Clippers.
Yeah, for real. Thank you, Steve, Dub, and J Logic for the follows. I appreciate that. We are gonna jump into the Lakers now. This is the part where I'm gonna upset a few people, and I know that I am, but I have to kind of say a couple of things that I feel here.
I probably will too. Okay.
So let me throw up some of the Lakers moves, which most of them I like. I just don't like what happened at center. And I'm not blaming the Lakers, nor am I blaming Dwight Howard for either one of these things. I'm actually just saying I don't like it. All right.
Let me ask you this to start. I'm going to ask you this. Okay. So obviously Howard made his own decision. Mm-hmm. Do you personally think that once Howard made that decision, even if you were bringing in Gasol, that y'all should have tried to keep JaVale?
No. No. I'd rather. God, it's tough, man, because JaVale played really well for Cleveland the first night too. But there was something about watching JaVale. Like I said, sometimes we watch a player get old, and it happens right before our eyes. And if you feel uncomfortable watching it, like it could be a quick knee jerk injury or just random situation, and you just like, yo, that dude looks old. Now I could be wrong at the way that he looked for Cleveland the other night. I could have been wrong, but I felt like if they saw what I saw, then they made a decision based on him looking like he just wasn't going to be able to last the entire season at the pace they needed him to.
Do you think he's in his Tristan Thompson bag? Like he's at that space in his career?
Ooh, you talking about JaVale?
Yeah, like you said, he looked old. Like that's how Tristan's looked the last couple of years to me. I mean, I'm sure his stats have been okay, but he's definitely not the Tristan from.
Well, when you don't have a star player next to a Tristan Thompson, it looks different. If you take all those star players off of Golden State and it's just Draymond Green, he's not gonna look like that. You know what I mean? He's not gonna look like a world beater. Yeah.
I mean, we saw that like for a little bit until they pulled him. So
yeah, but all right. So let me jump into the Lakers real quick. So I like the move at guard. I do think you kind of had to make that Dennis Schroeder move. I'm still on the fence, and me and J Logic talked about this actually during the live game watch. So a lot of Laker fans kind of went hard on Danny Green. And he definitely wasn't hitting his shots, and I'm buying that. I'm with my fellow Laker fans on that. But the thing is, he wasn't going to get cooked and burned, like even if he wasn't scoring well. You know what I mean? Wesley Matthews, on the other hand, from what I remember of him as a player, is a player that really needs to get going offensively to get going defensively. Avery Bradley and Green weren't like that as players. Not to my recollection. So I'm not going to say we made a step backwards because we don't know, man. It's been one game and the Lakers didn't look like they were even trying. They took Davis and he did. It's like Jay said, Green stayed in motherfucking jersey. Like, but yeah, that's kind of where I start with this. That's my one big question mark. So this is Trek Life's question marks about his squad, right? My next question mark is at center. Now I am a defender of the Paul Gasol and Marc Gasol trade, but I am not highly a defender of Marc Gasol as a player right now. He's a step too slow for me. What he brings offensively takes away a little bit from what you want to do as a team that was the second in the league in fast breaks. And listen, Toronto was number one with Marc Gasol, but that's because when they wanted to run, they took Marc Gasol off the floor. I'm assuming the Lakers are going to do the same thing, but let me make my last point before I pass this to you, Op. What you saw that the Clippers did is what other smart coaches are going to do. All right? When Marc Gasol was on the court, Ty Lue went small. When Marc Gasol was off the court, Ty Lue went back big. He wouldn't let Zubac have to deal with Marc Gasol, because if that's the case, he's going to draw your center out and you're going to have a problem. No,
Right.
he went small when Marc Gasol was on the floor, and teams are smart enough to do that. So I'm gonna pass this on to you because you're not an actual Laker fan, so there's not an emotional tie to it like there is for me. So yeah, go ahead, man.
I mean, I definitely I agree with you on a lot of those points. I think y'all lost a little bit of the showtime that you were starting to show. I don't know if you're gonna be getting up and down like you did last year. Not to say you won't do it at all,
Right.
but I think what you were saying is spot on, especially with you know, replacing Dwight Howard with a Marc Gasol. You're definitely not
Right.
getting up and down the court. I think Danny Green, because he played with the Spurs and because he played with, mostly the Spurs, he learned how to get to spots. And even though he wasn't making them, that was his thing. So on a fast break, you knew corner, wing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's been Matthews' game. Like
No.
Matthews more, he gets the ball, he makes a move. I don't remember him being a big time spot up dude. It's been a lot of
Yeah.
like catch one dribble, catch two dribbles, try to get to the rim, then pull up.
Yeah.
So you kind of lose that. I mean, I'm thinking the hope is that Caldwell Pope can take that space because he
Yes.
played well when Danny Green
Yeah.
wasn't playing well.
Right.
And he's a decent defender too, I think, from what I saw against Miami. And so it's going to be interesting to just see how y'all play Gasol,
Sure.
like in the long run. And then when he's not on the court, you get kind of small. And then I was talking about Pops. I don't know if I like. I think was it Vogel? Did Vogel say they were encouraging Anthony Davis to shoot more threes this year?
Yeah, they were. They were encouraging him to shoot 5 threes a game,
And
five, six threes a game.
I could see that make sense if you still had the two other athletic bigs who can cover that rebound space. I mean, you still got LeBron, so obviously he can go rebound if he needs to. But Harold, I don't know if he's going to be able to like play that space and
Yeah.
rebound if Davis is out there like that, which means you lose a lot of offensive rebounds if he doesn't make it.
Sure.
So we'll see. I mean, I still think like from top to bottom, definitely top two teams in the league. We'll see.
We
I,
shall
I
see.
want to see. I want to see if Kuzma gives up his spot, and I
To
want to
whom?
see to whoever because he's gonna have to show up. And I want to see if that kid, what is his name?
THT.
Yeah,
THT.
yeah. I want to see if he can cut out some minutes for himself and not just a little bit, like actually some solid minutes.
Well, if again, game one, hats off to the Clippers, hats off to all the teams that have won their opening night games. But if Wesley Matthews looks a step slow defensively like he did, then they're going to have to figure out whether they're going to put THT in or whether they're going to try to see if I'm trying to read Alfonso McKinney is going to be able to get some minutes. They're going to have to try to figure it out. So there's some question marks for the Lakers. It's funny because there was some guaranteed championship argument this year, but last year, and there was some kind of anti guarantee last year, but I thought last year they were more capable than this year. Like I was like, when people were downing them, saying they were going to land in 4th or 5th or 6th, I was like, last year's team looked actually a lot more dominant on paper than this team this year, and now they're guaranteeing this year as a chip. And I'm saying,
You know what I think that came from, man, is people, I mean, including myself, and I've been on record of shitting on this dude, but Dwight Howard, him coming, I think, created a lot of like, oh no, we've seen this show before. It's not going to
Yeah,
happen. It's not going to work.
sure.
I think that was one thing because other than that, there's not really much. And then the shooting was the other part I think last year that was like, oh, questionable. So now all of a sudden people hear Matthews' name and they know what he does, but most people probably ain't seen that dude play, like actually watched him play since he was with like Dallas, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. You really don't have a lot of memory of Wesley Matthews. Just straight up. I'm gonna bring my man J Logic on to show with us as well. Yeah, we on.
What's good, man?
What's good,
up,
Jay?
What's up, y'all?
Cool. All right, continue. I want you to continue your thought though.
Forgot where I was at.
We don't have a lot of memory of Wesley Matthews.
Yeah, Wesley Matthews. If you're a basketball fan, you know who he is, but you can't really pinpoint a moment where you're like, yeah, this is that dude that did this. Or matter of fact, what was the last team he was on?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. He played on Milwaukee last year.
And then before that, was it Dallas or was he on another team?
I think it was Dallas before that. Yeah.
It was Dallas.
Right. Okay. And then, I mean, even Schroeder, like I like him, but I remember when he was with OKC, and then he left. He got paid to go to the Pistons, right? Or was that Reggie Jackson? That's Reggie Jackson.
No, that was Reggie Jackson. Yeah, you talking Reggie Jackson? Yeah. No, Schroeder came from Atlanta, hooped up, and then went to OKC, played really well alongside Chris Paul, and they sort of ended up in the same spaces quite a bit. But Chris Paul is such an excellent basketball player, man. It's difficult to play poorly next to him. That's why the original Clippers like failure was so odd, because it's like, dude, how do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you, I guess injury. But anyway, yo, Jay, so your thoughts. You said that you still had to worry about Danny Green and that he always had like gravity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We don't have as many players who have gravity this season yet, because I don't think they've played enough together to figure it all out yet.
Sure.
And like, I think that was still a preseason game that we watched the other night. I think by early February we'll know who the team actually is.
Yeah. I'll give him 15 games. And
that's literally what I saw.
Yeah.
I saw that pretty much in all the games. Like, just watching all the games, we don't know who most of these teams are going to be, especially with the short preseason. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
Cool. Let's jump into Memphis, y'all. While we're here, I think there's really one question with Memphis, but I'm gonna start with Op here. What are your thoughts on Memphis?
They better get Ja Morant some help or he leaving. Because that boy is bad.
They lost Josh Jackson. I didn't realize that.
Did they trade him or he's hurt?
They traded him to isn't he in Phoenix now?
Josh Jackson is with the Pistons.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
he walked as a free agent. Yeah.
I don't know if Jackson Jr. is his name. That's the power forward they got, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what his stat line was yesterday.
He's hurt. He's hurt.
Is he hurt too? Okay, so Morant gonna have if he doesn't get any help, he's gonna have one of them Iverson type seasons.
Listen, man. I'm looking. I didn't know whether they won or not last night, by the way. I saw the headline that Ja Morant went off, but then 131 to 119 against the Spurs. Not that I don't know what the Spurs are this year, but I know defensively, Pop had to still go in the locker room screaming at everybody for a 131-119 game, no matter what. J Logic, what are your thoughts on Memphis right now, man?
And well, I'm happy because I got Ja Morant on my fantasy team. So it's great for me. He's about to get me buckets.
Oh yeah, you good.
A lot of cats acting stupid when I picked him third. I was like, y'all don't understand. He's about to be the best player on one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have the ball in his hands
whole time. Do y'all have Memphis making the playoffs or making a run for the playoffs like last year?
I don't think so.
If Justice Winslow comes back and he's Justice Winslow from Miami, and the second year dude comes back, the power forward, they can make it in the play-in. And if they don't come back healthy and get it together by March, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
He might be able to will probably about 10 games for them this season. But other than that, it's going to take an entire squad to get them back in the building.
I'm gonna roll with that. I don't have much thoughts on them other than there's a lot of talk about Ja Morant versus De'Aaron Fox. And I thought a little of that conversation was a bit unfair because De'Aaron Fox got injured, but they do look a lot alike as players to me. And I'm really hoping that they get him some help so he doesn't have to overexert himself, because that's really what happened to De'Aaron Fox and any other guard in the league that has gone through this. They've hooped up, but they're small, man. You can't throw your body at the basket like that against these, 6'9", 6'8" Serge Ibaka looking dudes for your whole, rookie career. For 72 games, especially as a young player. So, but let's get into this because this is my man squad. This is Op's squad.
Here we go.
So I'm gonna let you start it off, Op. Since no, you know what? I'll take that back. I'm gonna let J Logic start it off, since we have the emotional tie to the Lakers. I'm gonna let J Logic start it off. So Jay, I'm not sure if you can see the screen, but
are we talking about the Heat?
We're talking about the Heat. Yeah, they picked up Mo Harkless. They picked up Avery Bradley. They lost Jay Crowder, Derek Jones Jr., and Kyle Alexander. Solomon Hill, my man.
The caveman.
and Gabe Vincent, who I'm not sure who that is. So yeah, Jay, what are your thoughts on Miami this year?
They're actually going to be better as a team than they were last season because now they know who can do what. It took them being in the bubble and being locked together and having to be around each other 24/7 and realize, okay, this is who we don't need, this is who we do need, and this is who we need to step up. And the guys that needed to step up actually stepped up. So now they feel good about cutting those checks in the offseason the past two summers ago. The guys they picked up, just wanted to be in Miami, I think, because they're not going to get any playing time. All the new dudes they picked up.
Well, Avery Bradley is. I'd imagine Avery Bradley better get some run.
What do you play, like 10 minutes total?
Harkless or Avery
Bradley?
That's a good question because the game wasn't on TV.
Let me look at my fancy thing real quick.
I
got y'all right here.
Okay.
Let's see. Mo Harkless, I'm looking at. Avery Bradley did not play coach's decision.
Yeah. So,
that's interesting.
They got dudes they'd rather play that play well together, but they're all hurt. You know what I'm saying? So Bradley, I'm telling you, Bradley's going to not feel good about signing his contract by the time the trade deadline comes around in March. He's going to want to get out of there. He's going to be one of the buyout guys that we might pick back up again.
All right. Now, I think it's interesting to not play Avery Bradley in this situation, but I feel like it's game one, and a lot of the coaching. I trust Spoelstra as a coach. Bottom line, but I have one question and one question only, and then I'm gonna pass it to Op. This is my only Miami question: is Goran Dragic there? Is he healthy? That's my only question.
He's healthy. He played. He's healthy.
He played. So he played 25 minutes. He shot 61%. Mm-hmm. Let's see, 7 assists. Okay, 20 points. That makes Miami a problem. If Goran Dragic is healthy, Miami is an absolute problem. Period.
He didn't start either.
Okay.
No, he's going to be the Manu this season. Manu.
Well, he was last year. The only reason he ended up not starting is because he got hurt, and then they brought in Dunn was playing.
Yeah.
And then Dunn was starting, and then Dragic got hurt, and then Dunn got hurt, and then Dragic came in because Dunn got COVID.
Word.
Which is
Dunn's hurt and he has Rona.
That's why Dragic started again, but he wasn't starting last year. So but
I've been on you.
I'm not a fan of the Harkless pickup.
Mm-hmm.
I know why they did it, because they lost Jay Crowder and there really wasn't a lot of options out there for a forward/power forward.
Sure.
So they took the first available dude, I'm sure, because I wasn't impressed with him in Portland. I think he had a very good opportunity in Portland to play with Dame and McCollum, and he reminded me of I can't think his name. He used to play for the Blazers too. Blazers keep getting these small forwards that don't pan out. But anyway,
Evan Turner was one of them. Mo Harkless was
I
another
know you're
one.
talking about Mo Harkless and the other dude both played for the Clippers for one season. I know what dude you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but they both went from Portland to the Clippers.
Alfonso, something, whatever the dude's name was.
Small forward position, and they real inconsistent, but they can.
Was it Aminu? Was it Aminu something? He played for UCLA.
Yeah,
Aminu. Yes. Yeah, the African dude. Yep.
So he reminds me of that. I don't like Harkless as well because I think that he doesn't go well with Bam. I don't think he shoots well enough to go with Bam. So we need a power forward. But I do like this Precious Achiuwa, the cat we drafted.
Okay.
He actually had a good showing for a rookie night, only playing. I think he played 13 minutes.
Yep.
He doesn't put up like excellent stats, but for a rookie coming in off the bench to only play 13 minutes, his activity was great. He actually has a good little dribble drive. Kind of like how Bam was taking people from the top of the key. He can do that as well. So I like him. I'm hoping that he keeps that up and he ends up in the starting lineup personally. This is definitely Andre Iguodala's last year.
He waited to rob somebody, man. And I can't believe. I mean, I guess I understand why Miami did it. I just couldn't believe any team let him rob them like that because I knew it was going to be highway robbery.
I mean, Gordon Hayward keep robbing teams, so why not? But anyway,
you're right about that too. You dead right about that.
I think Miami's going to be interesting in a couple months only because Hero's starting now, so he has to get used to that, like the starting role. He's used to coming off the bench. The tempo's already set. I mean, he played well when he did start in the bubble, but to do it for a whole season is different. And I want to see if Duncan Robinson keeps getting better defensively. Like his shot is his shot, but can he defend at least one position? Because he's not that great of a defender. He's kind of a thorough defender.
Yo, you're on mute, Jay. Who's that? You're still on mute, yo. You muted yourself. It says your mic's not connected. There you go.
Now?
Yeah, now you're good. Yeah.
Duncan, man, like the kid's long. He played in Michigan. Like he knows what he needs to do on defense. It's the fact that if he's going to have a confidence enough to say, "Hey, I can do this." You're
right. Exactly. And he showed flashes of it in the bubble. Like there was moments where I was like, "Wow, he played really good in that play." It's going to be that man-to-man stuff that he got to work on. In that zone, they can kind of hide him and move him and shift him. But when they go man, he's going to have to really figure that out. But overall, I think they still be really competitive in the East. I think probably another 5 seed, to be honest with you.
You think a 5 seed again?
I think a 5 seed again. And I think at that seed, none of them other guys want to see them, especially not in the first round. You don't want to deal with them first or second round. Because win or lose, you're gonna go to about 6 or 7, and they're gonna beat you up.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna buy that. Jay, where do you have them in the playoffs? Which spot do you have them at?
So I'm thinking Milwaukee, Philly. They could end up 6. Things in the East, it doesn't really matter if you're 4 through 7 because either one of those teams can take each other out. There's no true monster on the East this season. At least not yet. We haven't seen Philly get into, really get down to business yet.
Or who Brooklyn really, really is. We don't know yet.
Yeah. Because, Brooklyn just can't. I think it was just because it was Golden State why they put it on them so hard.
Smashed them into the ground.
We'll see.
Hey, but I give a lot of credit to teams that do what they're supposed to do against teams like that. Like I think that also shows if you're supposed to smash a team and you put your foot on their forehead like they did with Golden State, then to me, that's like winning a close game against a really good team,
Trust me, I get hot. Like when we, when high school ball is in session and we're playing against a team I know we're supposed to, I get hot if we win by less than like 10 points. That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Like a win is a win, but at the same time, like if I look over and I'm like,
nah, they shouldn't be running with you.
Smash them. No, like if it gets below 10, that's because we were up by 30 at halftime, and I played the bench.
Yep.
That's the only reason.
let's run into Milwaukee real quick. I'll start here. The Drew Holiday pickup for Eric Bledsoe, I thought was perfect for their team.
How they manage
Outside of
that
that,
though? That Bledsoe contract, I thought they was gonna be stuck with that forever, dude.
So did I. They stuck the Pelicans with it, which I think actually, and it looks like it worked out for the Pelicans too. But in the long run, Bledsoe will show up as a not point guard, and that's gonna be a problem. Drew Holiday, I think, is much more seasoned, much more crafted as a point guard. He can play off the ball equally as well. I think Milwaukee is in good hands right now, but I still have them landing at second or third behind Brooklyn and behind Philly right now. I think Philly is more set, but I'll talk more about that when we get to Philly. Op, where you at?
I don't trust Milwaukee. Two seasons in a row, y'all have been basically the best team in the league. My question comes down to is Giannis gonna? I heard Gilbert Arenas say this, and a lot of people didn't like that he said it, but I got what he was saying. He said that Giannis needs to this season learn how to play basketball.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
And he gets the ball at the rim and he goes. And you know if he gets in the lane, it's a wrap. But reading the other team, reading the defenses, making that quote unquote right play, I don't think he's learned to do that yet.
Learning when to pass the rock on a pin down, right.
He hasn't really he kind of has like this one track mind, and until he learns how to do that, I think they're always going to end up in the kind of the same position. So maybe Drew Holiday can help take that off of him, and he can be the one to make those decisions. But I still don't trust. And is Chris Middleton going to continue? Is he the third dude that I don't know. So they got some question marks, man. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't shock me to see them from any position from 3 to 6. I wouldn't be like if they got to 6 and I would be like, okay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me.
Sure. I'm with that. Jay, where you at?
Drew Holiday is the best guard that Giannis has ever played with. Period.
Yeah. Agreed. No lies there.
Now we got to see if White Dante is going to step up. And then from there, we got to make sure it's White Dante. Because you say Dante, people are like, okay, that brother's nice. No.
White Dante with the fade, with the crispy fade too.
Crispy fade,
with the super crispy fade.
And he wears Cubans when he's off the court. Okay.
Yeah. Are you talking about the dude that played at Villanova?
Yeah, Dante
White Dante. He's the dude you got to worry, like Dave Chappelle said, he's a white dude you got to worry about hanging out with all the black dudes because you don't know what he did to gain their respect. You know what I'm saying?
Him and Tyler Hero, I swear, them two dudes, I'm like, what? Who you been hanging with?
Yo, White Dante is one of the best names for any player, period. I'm like, White Dante is great, yo.
I have never heard that one. That's a first. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
White Dante. Every time he scores now, that's going to be it. He actually played pretty well last night. He 6 for 11, 54% shooting. They shot 51%, which isn't shocking because they actually shot that well last season. So game when they shot 51%, they still took an L, but they did.
I got Middleton on my squad, so he puts up great regular season numbers. It's when they get to the playoffs and everything goes to half court, he just folds. Yeah. All of a sudden, he doesn't know how to drive to that hoop anymore, or read, curls. He was creating for other players last night, but he needs to be able to do that in a half court offense in the playoffs.
I'm seeing a problem here. I want to note to y'all real quick. Brook Lopez did play well. He's 3 for 4, 75% shooting. Blah blah blah. He played 30 minutes. Listen to this though. 3 rebounds in 30 minutes from the center position from a 7-footer. Now check out everybody else's numbers. Chris Middleton, 8 assists, 14 rebounds, 27 points, 50% shooting. Giannis, 35 points, 2 assists, 13 rebounds, 50% shooting, although 7 turnovers is awful. White Dante, 54% shooting, 15 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. Drew, 62% shooting, 25 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. And then you go to the next highest minutes, Brook Lopez, 7 points, 3 rebounds, no assists, 2 blocks is nice for him. I mean,
he's only out there for spacing. He's literally only out there for spacing. He's not out there to do big man duties. He's out there because he can't do big man duties with Giannis trying to run to the lane and run to the hoop every time.
No,
and that's my question about him too. Is was those shots he was taking, because he took a lot of threes, seemed like in the bubble.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now he's out on the perimeter, and that's another thing. I don't know how that's favorable, because I'm not worried about Lopez pump faking me and driving to the basket.
Well, he's getting hit on kickouts, so you can see all the rebounds going to everybody else because he's out by the 3-point line. This is my passions for the Lakers. This is my Lakers issue with Marc Gasol. Where are you going to be when I need you to grab boards? Are you going to be out there? Or are you going to be in here? And that's my same problem with Brook Lopez and any other big shooting center. But I don't want to spend too much more time on them. So keep whatever else you got, throw it at me.
Yeah, I mean, I hear, they're an enigma to me, to be honest with you. I don't know how long you can do what they've done the last 2 seasons and just always hit a wall. So
yeah,
I kind of feel like with them the same way I feel about the Clippers. We'll see.
Well, they looked a lot like Cleveland when Bron was there, right? They were the number one team, but they just couldn't get over the hump entirely. Jumping into the Minnesota Timberwolves, they traded Ricky Rubio, or they picked up Ricky Rubio. I'm sorry, which was odd. Yeah, I thought that was an odd pickup with D'Angelo Russell there. I feel like you got to keep the ball in his hands. And that's really, I mean, Hernan Gomez was picked up in free agency and whatever. Let me put this on the screen. My bad. Yeah, I
you know what? I don't know if that's necessarily as questionable for me, like, because we know Rubio not going to shoot.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And while Russell may need the ball, I definitely don't know if I want him always bringing it up in sets. Because he's looking to score, So if I can play him next to a point guard who's not looking to score, who can get him on an outlet pass or off of a curl or something like that, then I'm okay with that. I want to know what this rookie is going to do. And is Towns going to go beast mode, or is he going to go?
That's so tough, man. He lost 7 family members. I can't even imagine where his head is at right now.
Yeah, true. True.
Jay was. Oh, my bad. My bad.
No, I'm just saying. So yeah, they every year. As a matter of fact, I think me and you have actually picked them in the last 2 years as one of our teams. Like, oh, this is the year to watch them, and they always do the same. And we're like, well, yes, never mind.
It's not the year. Apparently, it's not the year. Jay, what you got, man?
They drafted Edwards. He played decent for a rookie. Beasley actually played all right the other night. And then what people didn't know, Russell didn't even start because he got in trouble with the coach for acting a fool.
Man.
Which I hope is going to happen. I always hated him. Like, I would argue with Trek all the time. I would argue with Trek online all the time about him.
All day, yes. This is the biggest argument we've ever been in was over D'Angelo Russell.
Okay, so now I'm connecting the dots. You're the person that I would talk to him, and he would be like, I get into this argument with the homie about
Russell. Probably more likely, yeah.
Well, if it was about D'Angelo Russell, definitely. If it was about D'Angelo Russell or Jim and
Jim
Mitch,
Bust, yeah,
those were our biggest arguments. Which
Little Jim, as I called him.
I'm not letting that one go. Go ahead, continue though. I'm listening to you.
Beasley, I think, will be the. They traded for Beasley, right? Was he a new addition or was he already on there?
Is he gonna stay out of prison?
Is he going to stay out of prison? Excellent.
We'll see. Ricky Rubio was a good pickup because they needed an anchor for the second unit because they have no wings in the second unit. They're going to basically run 3 guards with their second unit, 1 big and 2 bigs basically.
Yeah.
So
is the Rook starting?
Nah, I don't think. Wait, look that up, Treg.
I'm looking at it. I'd
try ESPN.
No, I'm looking at it right now. I'm just
Okay.
trying to make sure I have my information correct. He did not start. No,
Okay, all right.
6 man off the bench.
Okay, I mean, that's good for him then. That's
Yeah.
good.
He ran 25 minutes though. Karl Anthony Towns played 30 minutes and had 6 for 10. He put up 10 shots, 60% shooting. I think that's a good workout for him. 22 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. That's those are good numbers for Karl Anthony Towns. I like considering that there's no idea where his head's going to be at this season. What I'm saying. I think, and they won the game, so they beat the Pistons, so there's that.
I mean, it's the Pistons, so
hey, God beat who's in front of you, man.
Gotta beat somebody, right? Everybody's got an opponent.
Yo, all right, let's go. They on the way, folks.
Where we at?
New Orleans Pelicans. I feel like they on the way. Yo.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. If Ingram is gonna be the dude that he seems to be turning into, and Zion is gonna be Zion, they definitely gonna be a problem.
They look like a problem right now, and I'm gonna tell you the pickup that made them a problem. That Steven Adams pickup was about as gangster as any pickup I've seen this offseason. That was like, wait, what?
I forgot about that.
That takes so much pressure off of Zion and every other one of their bigs. That's a gangster pickup. I was like, what did y'all just do? And they still got the 13th pick in the draft, which again, me and Op talked about this middle draft, how it's weird because somewhere between 12 and 18 in the draft, it's like a superstar that you didn't even know was a superstar for some reason. So whenever I see that number, 13th pick, I'm like, okay, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Is this dude gonna be, 4 contracts in the league balling out, or is he gonna be, a bust, or alleged bust? I'm sorry, but yeah, that's where I'm at with it. That they on the way, man. They on the way. That Steven Adams pickup was nice.
They got JJ Redick over there.
Yep.
Josh Hart is still there.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't put up any numbers, but Jackson Hayes is a 7-2 problem.
Yes, he is.
He can run. I wish we had him on our squad.
He's
for
sure. And I think Steven Adams being that enforcer too, because he gonna beat some people up in the middle.
Yep.
And he's not bad down low. Like, you're not gonna feed him the whole game, but he got a little something in his bag that if he gets the ball in his hands, he can get it in the rim.
He's an average high 50% shooter. He's an average, actually probably closer to an average 60% shooter. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of shots, man. He's gonna be up there. He had 8 rebounds last night. My only biggest problem, I said this before the game, before we got on the air, Jay, I said Lonzo Ball took 9 shots last night. He was 4 for 8 from the 3-point line. I think that's wonderful, but I'm like, all of your shots can't be threes. You know what I mean?
And you can't have 5 turnovers.
Yeah, 5 turnovers, more turnovers than assists. 5 turnovers, 2 assists. Yeah,
did he turn down? Didn't I just read that he turned down his extension?
Smart for both sides, I thought.
Yeah, because they don't know.
I don't think he's going to be in that jersey next year.
You don't think so, Jay? You were saying they don't know.
I think they have some guards they haven't played yet. Lewis Jr., Thornwell, Alexander. They got all those dudes. They still haven't played yet because they were too stacked last season. They traded a couple of them off to create some more space. But I think they're planning either to get rid of Bledsoe or get rid of Ball. I think they're going to play both for the first half of the season to the trade deadline to try and see if anyone wants to fight on Bledsoe's contract. If they can't, then they just know they're just going to have to lose Ball and then compensate with one of their young guns to come in and take Ball's spot and just hold on to that Bledsoe contract until they can package it with someone else.
Sure. Yeah, the problem with a player like Lonzo Ball is just that potential in all caps. Like you just know or feel like, I think you always feel like once you let him go, he's going to blossom with the next team. And you can be like, man, we had him. So I really don't like when players fall in that position. I feel like, man, just just play up to your potential already. But he's only 3 years in. I'm still not ready to step on him just yet.
I want him to come back. I want him back on the Lake Show. Imagine him with old man LeBron and AD in the squad we currently have. He would be a killer because his game is he's finally figured out his game. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shoot a three every once in a while type dude. And then if he creates just enough gravity where they got to worry about him, that's when his passing kicks in.
Yeah, I like that.
We all know he's an elite passer. He's top 5 passer in the NBA right now.
He's not a bad defender either.
Yeah, he's excellent. Now that is something he's good at. Is defending.
So you can find you a long guard that can defend and hit a three every now and then and can control the pace of the game.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's going to end up staying on this team for the price tag.
Sure.
They're not going to want to pay him. They won't pay him.
I mean, they can't really. No. At some point, they got somebody going to have to take an L. You know what I mean? They got to pay everybody. Okay. Knicks fans, if you are in this chat, you have 2 seconds because I am not spending any time on the Knicks.
Did they play yet?
They played yesterday.
Yeah, they played one game.
And I think did they win? I think they actually might have won their opening game.
What day did they play? Did they play?
Yeah, they played yesterday.
Last night.
they
And
played the Pacers.
They played the Pacers. Did they win? I thought they won their opening night. No, they lost. They lost.
Come on, man. Knicks fans. Otherwise, you would have heard Knicks fans' mouths. We're going all the way. You would have heard. You would have saw a tweet from Jesus Miro saying something about the Knicks.
I'm gonna say this before we jump off them. I just never understand. I mean, I ain't seen this kid play. I just never understand their draft picks for their need.
Yeah, it's big.
It's not that the players are bad. It's just like for what they need. Like what do you? Like I understood RJ Barrett. I understood that. I understood that.
Sure.
Knox was a little. Knox, I was like, okay, all right, because you already got Julius Randle.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have Randall yet, right? They traded. They signed Randall
after they signed him in the offseason. But then they picked up Bobby Portis after that, and I was like, so now you have 3 of the same player,
3 power forwards, and the 2 of them were washed, and one of them was still mad he was not in LA anymore.
And they just did it. And technically, they did it again because Obi Toppin he's like an undersized power forward. So basically, he's another small forward.
All right. Look, that's too much time. Yeah. I gave Knicks fans a chance. I gave y'all all the time I'm going to give y'all.
Wait. On the way out, though, they still got this is game. They played 2 days, right? Like it's game. Knicks played 1 game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Knicks, I told you, what did I say the first one we did? I give them 5 games. You got 5 games, Knicks fans, to jump to the Nets. If you don't do it before 5 games, I'm not listening to nothing you gotta say.
Okay, wait. Can I throw a caveat in there? Just to be nice. What if they win 2 of those 5? Can I extend my Knicks fan run to
5 games? 5. You already did 1. Like both of y'all, the Nets and the Knicks, got 1 game down. You got 4 more to go. Brooklyn, he's a Knicks fan. He already jumped day 1. He called me and was like, "Hey, I'm done." I was like, "All right, cool. You good?"
Yeah, fair enough. Look, OKC is another team I'm not going to spend a lot of time on either. They are rebuilding.
Who do they have?
They picked up Al Horford. Dude, it's a laundry list of players. They got Trevor Ariza.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's some dead bodies over there. George Hill.
He said dead bodies.
I feel
like this is wrap.
They let Gallinari go as a free agent. They let Nerlens Noel walk, which is bottom. I understand letting Andre Robertson walk.
Oh, you mean Mr. From the free throw line? Yeah, let that dude go. Bye.
Defensively, he was nice, but he just couldn't put the ball near the basket. And of course, we know they let Steven Adams walk. Chris Paul they traded. Dennis Schroeder they traded. They're in super rebuild mode.
They got the Guild kid. What's his name? The one they got from the Clippers. What's his name?
Gilchrist Alexander. Yep.
So I heard them say that basically they're basically putting the ball in his hands and letting him go.
He's nice. He's nice, but yeah, that's not enough.
He ain't
That's
ready
just
yet.
not enough.
He ain't ready
Yeah,
yet, though.
he's not ready for that. I do feel like the Clippers might be kind of kicking themselves though, because they didn't really have to move him, right?
Nah, they didn't have to give him picks and him. They gave him picks and him.
Yeah,
Clippers tripping.
yeah. Because last year in the playoffs, they needed Gilgeous-Alexander. They could have used him more than any other player they had at the time.
Yeah. Who's next?
Yeah. Moving on, we got an Orlando. Before we get to
Orlando played Miami the other day, and I watched the highlights. I didn't get a chance to see the whole game.
Okay.
And it made me look up Gordon's contract, because Orlando's another one of those teams. They got a bunch of hodgepodge players, like they're like all guys I could see going to other places or have been other places.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason they got shipped. I know earlier I said I would love for Miami to get a power forward. Honestly, I would love to take Gordon.
You and every other fan of every other team in the NBA. We'd all like Gordon.
Just come on over to South Beach. Go ahead and leave Orlando. Come over to South Beach. And
I don't think they'll be able to throw him enough money to stay. What did you say his contract was? When is he out?
He has next year is his, I think, last year. 21, 22 was his last year.
I think next year's his opt out, then he has one more year, right?
Yeah, he'll probably opt out, because I think he got a kind of a low and compared to, I think he has a contract was 80 million.
Okay.
Over 4 years. So I have a feeling he's going to opt out.
I mean, why not? Why not? Orlando as a franchise does not get enough heat. They need to really take way more L's than they take as a franchise. When you hire a hockey GM and be like, it's the same thing, it's time to go, man. It's time to go. So
especially when across the street, the other team seems to just keep doing this, and they came in the league at the same time.
Yeah. You're
in a hot city, so I don't know. Whatever.
You bugging. But this is kind of the meat of we get into the meat of this, because we got Philly, then we got Phoenix, then we got Portland, all up next. So I'm gonna jump right into Philly. Jay, it sounded like your mic went out, so just in case. As a matter of fact, it's showing that you're muted. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Philly?
Philly. I'm just looking at it right now. Go ahead. Anybody jump in whenever you're ready.
Is Ben Simmons shooting a 15-footer yet consistently?
You know what? Go ahead. I'm gonna look that up while y'all talk about it.
You go look up a shot chart. Please look up a shot chart. If you can find it. I would love to see a shot chart.
Because I liked what I saw the highlights of the game. I liked what Embiid was doing. Embiid, I liked. He looked kind of healthy and smooth. The problem with them for me when I watch them, because Simmons don't shoot and can't shoot, he has the potential of clogging up the lane sometimes for Joel, and then it causes problems. I don't know what Doc's going to do with that. I'm real curious to see how that all plays out. Who did they pick up in the offseason?
Danny Green, Dwight Howard.
That's right.
They let Al Horford go.
Which I don't think he was a fit there anyway.
They picked up Seth Curry. That's a nice pickup for them.
Yeah.
Seth Curry. Yeah.
All they did was take Al Horford away from the Celtics. That was basically a chess move.
Sure.
Yeah.
They knew all along they were going to get rid of him. But they just didn't want the Celtics to have him because he was a problem for Embiid.
He messed up.
He wanted to leave. I think, we talked about Boston earlier, but the other day, but like Boston made some decisions, I think, that chased some cats off.
Sure.
And I personally think they never needed to go get, once they had that season where they went up against LeBron and went to this game 7, that should have been notice to Danny Ainge, like, hey, we don't need Kyrie, we don't need Hayward, like we can build
it's
this
role player time. It's role player time. You started finding pieces to fit.
And they ended up losing. Horford was one of them, that they ended up walking.
Horford later did say that he made a mistake, though. He didn't think they were going to make certain moves. I think he really thought Kyrie was going to stay. I thought he was. So, yeah, he kind of sent his career in tailspin. But I do think that Philly pulled a chess move by picking him up. Yeah, I looked at the shot chart. I'm not sure if y'all can see it on the screen. Ben Simmons did not take a single shot outside of the paint. So not one shot outside of the paint.
They can't win like that.
Yeah.
They not gonna be able to win like that. He gotta at least take the shot. Even if he missing them, he gotta take them.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Not
like,
one single shot.
You can't be that skilled and not take your shots. Like, that's crazy. Why does Ricky Rubio shoot more than you, dude?
Shoot, yes. Ricky Rubio he got to stop.
That's a problem.
Stop shooting right now. Yeah. Please. Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, there's no argument about that. They can't win with him being on the court heavy minutes, not taking the open shot when it's given to him. That's just
the thing is, he can't shoot. They have footage of him in the gym shooting out there. For some reason, why won't you do it in the game? And I think because he just feels like, well, if I don't have to, I'm not gonna shoot it.
He's stubborn. He did an interview where they asked him, I think it was last season. They said in the offseason, we're hearing a lot about, it'd be great if you worked on your shot. And he was like, wow, what I've been doing works. Like he's very, I think he has this ego thing where he's just like,
God, he's had it from day one. Yeah.
I'm going to do what I do, and that's what I'm going to do. And I think if he continues that attitude, he got 2 more seasons and he's going to start getting that Carmelo treatment.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Where he's going to start becoming a trade piece. And
that might happen this season, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, you know what? You know what, brother? You might be right because, if you ain't shooting, what I need you for? What you gonna do?
I have a feeling Philly really did explore that Harden trade with real eyes because at the end of the day, I could get a dude that's gonna put the rock up, get to the basket and can pass. I mean, he didn't average his numbers assist wise for no reason, Harden. So it's not like I'm losing this passing and possibly put up 25 points a night, at least 22 points a night in this offense for a dude that can do all the intangibles, plays better defense than Harden by far. But at the same time, it ain't gonna shoot, ain't gonna put the numbers up where I need you to.
It's gonna unlock Embiid because we all saw what Embiid did during that All-Star game last year, and they gave Embiid the closing shot because they knew if they put him down low, he's the baddest man on the block right now in the NBA.
He's a monster. Clean. He's a monster. Altogether, he's a monster. And people have been arguing with me about that. And people have been dissing Embiid and trying to get me to be like, oh, yeah, no, that's the thing. I'm like, you guys are stupid. No, that dude is ridiculous. Stop.
At the end of last season, when they first started talking about who would you rather, like, if you're going to trade one, who would you? I don't know how many times I heard people like, Embiid. I'm like, what? But what are you talking? I'd much rather take him playing taking a game off every 10 games than Simmons, who
not
also
shooting.
took games off, who was hurt, not shooting. We talked about Lonzo Ball earlier, right?
Yeah.
At least Lonzo gonna shoot the ball.
Yes.
Like, I may not like, you say you didn't like the fact that his 9 shots was from, but at least he took them.
Fair. We gotta take him as they're open.
And he's gonna defend, and he can handle the rock. So if I'm, as crazy as it sounds, if I'm looking at them two and I'm going, oh, who's going with Joel? I might actually be like, I'm going to go with this dude.
Well, I said that from the beginning, though. Philly was going to pick him up, remember? Philly had the 3rd pick that year, right?
You're right.
Philly was, so. They really wanted Lonzo Ball. And then after Lonzo went to the Lakers and all of Philly started talking bad about Lonzo, like they didn't want him. But no, they definitely wanted him because they knew that he would open up a lot of the offense. Now, they could actually both use something from each other. Simmons could shoot more from the outside, and Lonzo can go to the basket a lot more. And I think that, one of them could, if they took cues from each other, they would be better off. But
true.
But they're Philly's only going to be as good, and I think Danny Green's an excellent pickup, a locker room dude, smart basketball player, Who knows where his shot's going to be when you need it? But defensively, we all talked about how he dug in. I think Dwight Howard's an excellent pickup for them. Those off minutes are good.
Yeah.
But man, where are they going to be at mentally when they need it? And that's been a problem.
I think they're going to be all right because they picked up who they picked up. I mean, Seth Curry, Danny Green, and Dwight. Even though we all heard of the stories about Dwight and his booty hole and everything, who cares? The dude's a dog. You know what I'm saying? When you put him in the game, he's gonna do what he do. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's interesting. You know what? The thing with Dwight, I'm actually glad because Trek knows. Like, I actually completely switched. Matter of fact, there was a point, as I've never said Kobe was a bad player. You can ask Trek that. I've always gave Kobe his respect as a player, but I did not like him. There was a point where I completely switched all of that non-like to Dwight Howard, where it just went straight to him. It was like, you know what? I can't deal with you. And I think one thing he got back going to the Lakers last time was, all I had to do was do what I've been doing. That's why Orlando to a championship, because I rebound block shots, and when my shooters shot, I rebound. When they got doubled, they dump down, I dump. He can do that. I think so. You can have Joel sit for a couple minutes, and you're not going to lose like this amazing gap. You're going to lose the post presence a little bit, but not that much.
And he's not going to back down. He's not going to back down from any player in the league. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of his antics, he just doesn't back down. So,
well, Dwight, by the time Dwight got to the Lakers, the league had already shifted away from the Shaq-esque focused big man of a genre of basketball. That was on the last legs, and then that was the beginning of what Golden State was doing.
Sure.
That lineup.
Yeah.
That was like what, 2015, right? 2013, 2015? Was that when?
Yep.
No, wait. He was here for a year or 2 years?
1 year.
1 year.
So that was 2012, 2013, right?
Yep.
Because we won in 10, we lost in 11. We got booted. Then we traded Bynum for Howard for 12, right?
That sounds right. Yep.
Okay, so either 12 or 13.
That was the beginning of people acting like the front office was bad. Go ahead, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
That was hey, you know damn well Jim Buss was not good. Where's the camera at? You know damn well Jim Buss was not good for the Lakers.
He got 2 chips, man. He got 2 chips. We can't. You gotta give him his credit. Give him his credit for his 2 chips, man.
I feel like I should just go get a bite to eat.
We don't have enough time to do this. But I'm telling y'all,
ain't enough bandwidth for that. Ain't enough bandwidth on earth for that.
We're gonna do this one day. We just ain't got time to do it today.
In regards to the White and 76ers, I think the biggest thing with him is that either someone got in his ear after y'all demolished him in the finals and said, because you know who else had this problem? Ben Wallace.
Sure.
Ben Wallace went to the Pistons. He did what he did. Rebound, block shots, dunks. They won. Dwight Howard was that times 2 because he's 6'10". Was it? Ben Wallace was 6'8", right?
Yeah.
And he got Shaq's shoulders, but he don't got Shaq height.
Yeah.
Right. Dwight got both. And so they lost, and he started feeling in some type of way like, I need to be more of a focal point, which was stupid. And he started going to try to train with dudes, and it's like, dude, you're just a robot. You could train with Akeem all you want. You're not that dude. Like, he just don't have that type of flow.
Yeah.
And I think this year, playing with LeBron, playing with AD, he got his flow back into what I can do. And what I can do is bully dudes. I can dunk on dudes, and I can block shots and run the court. And
I ain't got to do it for more than 20 minutes.
I still think to this day, if he would have just stuck to that after they lost to y'all, because I think that crushed his soul. I think y'all took his soul away from him. And
I'm shocked he believed that they could win that series. He should have went into that knowing that the outcome was going to be what it was. They didn't have nothing near what that was.
If if Iverson could only pull off one win, I don't know why Dwight thought.
Yeah. Ivy went out there and stole a win from the Lakers straight out.
Yeah. because we all sat back like everybody in the city was like, "Oh, we got this. Don't trip." We all sat back, got our snacks, was chilling, so waiting for the sweep.
Nah, son.
And that's all Iverson wanted. All Iverson wanted was one game. You saw him come to the locker room right after the game. We talking about sweep my ass. Ain't no sweeping, ain't no bruise out no way. And that was
but he also knew the Lakers were about to make history that year. Because if they sweep that series, they swept the playoffs, which that was about to be historic. Iverson snatched history out of the Lakers' hands. Dwight Howard had to know you wasn't coming close to that.
No,
it was over for you.
And his shooters after the first game, they all went to sleep. Yeah, none of them could shoot all of a sudden. Reggie Lewis couldn't shoot. None of them could shoot. What was the not Turkaloo?
I got a breaking news.
What's up?
Oh shit!
Positive tests in the NBA. Hold on. Wall, Cousins, and others enter quarantine.
I knew that.
You knew that? Okay. I just got the notification just now.
They canceled the game yesterday for that.
No. I'm talking about, but they weren't positive yesterday. They were just.
Oh, they tested positive?
Yeah, they're all positive now.
Yeah, I had a feeling because yesterday what they said after that though, the first thing they said was they leaked that Wall and Cousins were asked to go home.
Right.
If that happened, I was like, why were they just them two?
Well, the rookie had it. Either the rookie or one of the younger players had it. He was positive, so they sent him home. They about to blame this on Harden, y'all.
Well, it's kind of interesting though because Harden's negative, so
it's like,
what if he's immune? What if he's immune and it's all because of strip club wings? Strip club wings are the vaccine. Strip club wings. You know
him and Lou Williams got the vaccine from strip club wings.
That WAP. You get my drift.
The WAP. It's immune. It makes you immune.
I'm glad you got that, Trey.
I know. I'm still around, yo. I'm still around. I'm up on current events and current songs. Yeah.
What are we on? I forgot what we was on.
We at the Phoenix Suns.
So listen, I'm gonna this is
we are? I thought we were Orlando. Okay.
We passed Philly, we on Phoenix. Okay. Yeah.
I had today was I had a long conversation about the Suns. I noticed so in that game I think they had 18 turnovers, which I believe Logic said earlier that you're going to see a lot of this stuff cleaned up in about a month or so. A Chris Paul team with 18 turnovers, that's not going to be the norm.
It shouldn't be.
That's basic because I watched that game and literally all their turnovers, which was funny, is none of them were forced. They were like a bad screen with a pass off the foot. It's like somebody tried to dribble handoff and it didn't work. Like it wasn't anything that who did they play? Oh, that Dallas did. It was simply timing. And with them adding Jay Crowder, who now has that experience, and you remember Jay Crowder played on that Celtics team that took LeBron's team to 7 games.
Yes.
So he has that dog in him. Chris Paul is a dog. And then they got Mikal Bridges, who played for Villanova, really nice young player that's coming up.
They got Jalen Smith at the 10th spot, which is kind of a dark spot in the draft for some odd reason. That 9th and 10th spot seem to be players.
That's from Maryland, right? The big dude.
Yeah.
He's serviceable. And then with Booker's going to be way more comfortable because he has Paul to kind of distribute. And then Ayton, they were talking today about, I bet Phoenix feels stupid for not taking Doncic. And I'm like, okay, you're acting like Ayton is not a prime pick. Like the dude's gonna do what he needs to do, and he did that yesterday. Actually, was it 2 days ago? He's actually better in the post than I thought he was.
He's gonna need some a couple of years.
Yeah. I think Paul's gonna help with that because Paul's gonna set him up. He's gonna put him in positions to be successful. And I look at this team and I go, okay, so Paul took, even before the whole COVID thing, Paul had that OKC team right in that 5th, 6th spot.
They was there. They were there.
They was right there, even before the whole COVID hit and all that. So if he took that team, who probably none of us can name outside of like Adams Like
SGA. Well, they had Adams, SGA, Schroeder. They had
Gallinari.
Danilo Gallinari.
in and out. But like overall, if I was to say, hey, we're gonna do a fantasy draft, or hey, let's go to the park and pick out of all these NBA players, this is your team. And I was giving you the Phoenix, I mean the OKC, you would be like, dude, what am I gonna do with this?
We all thought that was Chris Paul's washed year. We thought it was over. Like,
dude,
let's all admit it. We thought it was done. He was done when he went to OKC.
Play a game. Personally, I thought that they were going to figure out a way to restructure his contract and get him out of there.
Same, very much so.
I did not see him even wearing that jersey. And he took that on the chin, and he led them young bucks. He had them dressing nice in the tunnels, and he was doing all kinds of stuff. I was like, all right, Chris.
That team seems a little less egotistical than this Phoenix Suns team. I guess I'm really just talking about Booker here. But let me say this real quick. Big loss is Kelly Oubre Jr. Defensively, I think that's a huge loss for them. Big pickup, actually, and I know y'all going to think that I'm crazy for this, but Etuan Moore. I think Etuan Moore is a pretty good pickup for random. He played pretty well in New Orleans. He shoots really well. And when you don't give him a ton of responsibility, he could burn a lot of people. Now, he's not going to be major, but I'm talking that 6-7 point marginal swing in points. He actually can kind of balance you there. Jay, what are your thoughts on the Phoenix Suns, man?
If Chris Paul stays healthy and he gets Aiden into that pick and roll rhythm that he got who's my man from Compton? Big man center drafted by the Clippers, won the ring in Dallas. He played for the Lakers. Light skin, team light skin.
He went to Dominguez Hills. God, dog, why can't I remember? I
can't remember his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right?
You know exactly who we talking about, man. Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Tyson Chandler.
Remember what he did for his career? He got Chris Paul gets all his big men paid. That's what he does.
Yeah.
DeAndre too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he does. Yeah, I agree with that. Yo, real quick, we in the chat, my man Opoetik and Mr. J Logic, just in case you guys do not know who they are, real quick. I want to make sure that y'all have their names so you can follow. I don't have a mod, so I gotta do it myself. So make sure you follow Mr. J Logic. That's the light-skinned dude down there, and this dark-skinned brother up there. So yeah, Portland. Robert Covington is an excellent pickup.
Yes,
Derrick Jones Jr. is an excellent pickup. So,
and they got Carmelo to come off the bench. I think that they're going to be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Carmelo shot terrible though the other night, man.
But I think it's going to take him a minute to get, he's bought into it. I think it's going to take a minute for him to get used to coming off the bench and catching. Because you got to remember, when you come off the bench, you're basically inserted into the rhythm of the game that's already been established. Melo's used to establishing the rhythm of the game. So he's going to have to figure out, because he's going to have a lot of freedom with that second unit. And basically, he's going to be playing up against dudes that's not his caliber.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to do a lot of stuff, but it's just a different mindset. And I think it might take him a couple games to get used to it, but I think he's going to be fine. I think Covington was definitely a great pickup.
Yeah, he had a horrible game though the other night, but that's an excellent pickup still, no matter what. Yeah.
Who else? They got Nurkic back, right? He's healthy.
The way for Collins to come back. Zach Collins is still hurt.
Collins is still hurt. Yeah. Nurkic played last night.
Nurkic is healthy though, right? He's healthy.
CJ McCollum. I see this stat line pretty often with them. I put it up. My bad. I just kicked Op out on accident. My bad. Let me put this up real quick. Because CJ McCollum ends up he took 19 shots last night.
Okay.
Dame Lillard took 12. The next highest player was Dame Lillard. Whenever I see that, they're pretty close to losing, man. And I know that ESPN kind of highlights those games where CJ McCollum throws up, 20 shots and 50+% shooting. But most of those games, when I see that he took more shots than Dame, they lose those games. They haven't bought out. But looking at how they shot 40% yesterday, they gave up 120 points. Still,
Did they win?
They did not win. They lost 120 to 100. Me and Jay were on for the game watch party when the Lakers played the Clippers, and somebody kept asking me about the Portland Trailblazers. And Jay, what did I say? If they are not going to commit to defense, I don't even want to talk about them.
It's a wrap. But guess what? They're gonna play even less defense because James Harden has put him on his trade 2 team. He wants to go to Portland.
he also wants to go to Dallas and Chicago. And
he basically wants to go anywhere where the strip club game is nice. And the strip clubs, Portland's known for strip clubs. He just wants to go. He's going to go on the "I want a wing named after me" in every strip club in America tour.
Hey, listen.
Wait, hold up a second. Are we coming up on Houston?
We already passed Houston.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah, we did last time.
One moment with Houston.
Okay.
I don't remember what we said about Houston, but when they first announced that John Wall and Cousins were signing, like Cousins first and then Wall later, I went on my Facebook and I said, this actually could work. And people were like, no. And I really wish Harden would have gave it a chance.
Yeah.
If not just to the trade deadline, like just shut up and see what happened. Because I think assuming Wall was going to be healthy and Boogie could be healthy, I really think that would have been a really great situation for all three. Because even though they were trying to compare Wall to Westbrook, I don't think that they're the same player like people were saying. Like, honestly, Wall took all those shots in Washington because he had to. Right. Like, in Kentucky, he was a pass-first point guard. That's what he was drafted as, a dude who was crafty enough to get to the rim, could score at the rim, but he would kick and pass, right? Yeah. He gets to the league, and it's like, but he had to. He was in D.C. by himself for the longest. He got Beal. Yeah. I think he had Ariza one year. I think he played with Gilbert Arenas at one point. But for the most part, it was like he had to make things happen. So I really think that he would have worked great because he don't occupy the same space as Harden.
I agree with you.
So I just wish he would set up and let it play out. But now it's too late. Like that team is they gonna have to do something because they're gonna implode. But anyways, we can get back to the ABCs or whatever. But
I'm not really going to. There really isn't a lot of time to spend on Portland. If they're not gonna play defense, who cares, right? Yeah. A lot of that is kind of the same for Sacramento. Now they played well opening night, but they lost Bogdanovich. They picked up Whiteside. But again, if you're not going to commit defensively, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And as a team, they didn't commit defensively last year. I do hope that De'Aaron Fox is healthy and has a good year this year. I liked how he played when he was healthy the year prior. But again, if you're not going to commit defensively, then Luke Walton's basically going to be gone by the end of the season, and that's going to be the end of this altogether. Yeah. So I'm going to. Do y'all want to talk about the Spurs? Because I don't.
Nope.
Nope. They don't. Who do they even draft?
DeRozan's gone next year. Period. Let's move it on.
Devin Vassell at 11th and Trey Jones at 41st.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Tim Duncan will be the head coach of that team in the next 2 years.
He bounced. I think Holmgrove's going to take over before him. He actually checked out. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing this coaching thing for a minute. He bolted.
Yeah. He sounds like a person that's going to quit. All right, I'm going to pass.
Oh,
I got to check on. You got that shade? I threw that shade right over there. Like,
definitely threw that shit.
Yeah, for real. I don't have whatever. I'm gonna pass it on. Let's move. We're looking at the Toronto Raptors. Again, I don't know. Do y'all want to talk about them? Like
I'll say this. Let me make it short. I think that they're gonna have to make a really big decision this year.
Okay.
They've maximized what they have. Mm-hmm. They've lost, pieces that got them there.
Sure.
They're never going to get any big time free agents like they did that one time. They only got that because the Spurs were being petty.
Yep.
So they got lucky. I feel like they signed what's his name? The small forward.
The other African.
Yeah. And then they have another cat who's I think African as well, and he's playing pretty well. Now they're gonna have to figure out Lowry. and Lowry got to figure out what he want to do. And if I'm Lowry, I'm thinking about leaving because they've maximized that. Toronto has maximized their potential at this point. That's what it is. So I think that they got a big decision to make this year. Is it time to move on, or are we just happy that we putting asses in the seats?
They picked your re-signings page. I'm sorry, Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm looking at the squad. It looks the same, and I don't see them higher than 6th this year.
And that's with no injuries. That's with no injuries.
That's with 0 injuries.
Because if they get any injuries, they're going to be 9, best 8.
Yeah. I'm not completely sold on them, but we'll see what happens. But
it's been a good run for them.
Yeah, it was an excellent run. Yeah, it might be close to rebuild time. Utah Jazz, yo. They picked up Derek Favors.
Woo! They got him back?
They got him back.
Yeah, they got Derek Favors back. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then they re-signed. They just gave Gobert a grip of money.
Yeah, they $205 million for zero reason. And I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, I'm not.
They didn't have to do that because no one else was going to give him that money.
No.
But they didn't want to. But they know that no one else was going to come there because of it's Utah.
Yeah, that was how y'all mentioned earlier. It was mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned earlier that no, you did, Jay. How Al Horford was picked up as a chess move. Mm-hmm. I think overpaying a player like that is also a chess move. Saying, okay, now you've been avoiding Utah this whole time, rest of the NBA, but look at what we're doing. We gave Rudy Gobert $205 million. If you come here, you're gonna be well taken care of. So it might have been a front office move to say, like, look, we're a good place to play if you really want to take your career off.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback on both of you, I think it's one of them things he just said. Like, Utah's another place. They're not just getting free agents. They ran with Karl Malone and John Stockton forever, and they never really. Yeah. They had to. So I think that's where their space they're at. They're like, okay, we lock up Donovan Mitchell because he's the one dude who we could actually lose.
Yep.
And you know what? The only other guy we can lock up is Rudy. And we're a good team. If we see, Utah's been actually, I think, on some lightweight, maybe even not lightweight, they've been really happy with just being there.
Yeah, they have.
And our fans come because they say they got one of the craziest fan bases, and
it's the only thing to do in town.
So they got a competitive team on the court. So they like, you know what? This might not win us a chip, but we're going to be right there every year. And so the fans will appreciate that. We get our money. We're competitive. What else can I do?
Sure.
Now, did they already give Spider-Man an extension?
Yeah.
Yeah, last season, right?
So him, Bam, Donovan Mitchell, Bam, Tatum, they all got this last 3 months. They got their money.
Okay.
Donovan was actually the first one, I think, to drop.
That's right, because we were all hoping Donovan was going to opt out and come to the Lake Show.
I was hoping he opted out and came to Miami.
That is another one of those things. They came in drafted with D'Lo, right? D'Lo and Okafor and it wasn't Simmons that same year, right?
Who, Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
I think it's third season, right?
So Mitchell. So I remember Mitchell because Mitchell was I think he was a 13th pick, track. Yeah. And Pat Riley was on record as saying, if he dropped, I'm taking him. And Miami had the 14th pick. And he dropped right at 13 and was like, damn.
Word. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that was the Russell draft because De'Aaron Fox was also in that draft at 5th. I believe 4th or 5th.
No, Russell was the year before Lonzo. That might have been the Lonzo draft.
No, Donovan is the same draft as hold on. Is the same, I believe it's the same draft as
Tatum and Lonzo.
Okay.
Same draft class as Tatum. Third season.
Okay. So let me I'm now I gotta look up something. Yeah, keep going.
It's 2017. 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, third season.
What's his draft?
That's Lonzo, Kuzma, Bam, Tatum.
So Miami took Bam because he was waiting on Mitchell, and then he didn't. So Bam was next.
Bam's going to be a bad. I think Bam finally got the confidence in the bubble to be like, yo, I can do it with these dudes. And that's why people thought I was crazy. He was my second pick in my fantasy draft. Second round pick.
This is one thing I know Trek doesn't watch college basketball, but this is one thing I have noticed that so number one, Duke players for the most part have been role players to no shows in the NBA. At best, with the exception of a few. The ones that do end up successful in the NBA at a high level did not go to Duke longer than like 10 games. Right. Kyrie, right? So Kentucky, though, when Calipari took over Kentucky, it's almost like he said, you know what? It'd be cool to win a tournament, but I'm getting these boys ready for the NBA. And he gets all these dudes and he puts them in these positions, and we watch the game and we go, oh man, he's a great post player. Oh, this guy is a good shooter. And then they get to the league and you're like, wait, that dude can do that. And he can do that too. So we got Anthony Davis, Bam, Cousins, like all of these dudes who come from that program.
Yeah.
They get drafted with this one-dimensional mindset, and then they get in the league and you're like, oh shit, he can, like when Bam in the bubble started taking dudes off the dribble, it made me remember an interview with Calipari who he said, Pat Riley called me and was like, what's up with him? And he was like, hey, you might want to take a look. And then Riles was like, hey, go look at this kid. And you're starting to see it because all those big dudes that come from Kentucky, they got that same, you think they just post players, and they get to the league and they give you a little shimmy and a shake, and they can do things. So, that's that same draft though. That draft is weird. I'm looking at it right now. You know how they do the redraft?
Oh yeah. That you're talking about the 2017 draft. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's Donovan, Tatum, Kuzma, Markington, Josh Jackson, Lonzo, Dennis Smith Jr., Markelle Felix, who actually played great the other day.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I have the 2015 draft up. And I have it up strictly for J Logic. The third player to get paid was D'Angelo Russell. I just wanted to let you know that. Out of all of this, my man got his bread because on this list, now listen, Devin Booker was the 13th pick. Yo, that freaking 12 through 20 is crazy. Is the 13th pick. And just to note something real quick, Montrezl Harrell was the 32nd pick in the draft that year. Yeah, he fell below Larry Nance, Jerry and Grant, Sam Decker, just Terry Rozier. Kelly Oubre Jr. was 15th. Yeah.
Decker though.
Didn't Decker get kicked out because like he was just racist as hell? I was like, why are you playing basketball if you're this racist?
Was it Sam Decker? I thought Sam Decker was a brother. I didn't even realize that.
I think Decker's a white dude, and like he was popping off about the BLM stuff, you know.
Oh, okay.
And then players are like, yo, like we kind of don't want you here, bro. I mean, you know, you should find another sport.
I didn't know he was that. In college, he was one of them just tough dudes. You knew he wasn't going to pan out in the NBA, though.
Yeah. All right. We are at the last squad of Washington Wizards.
Who looked great the other night, and they're still down 2 or 3 players.
Westbrook triple-double, and it was a legit triple-double. The truck and I
six turnovers though, but yeah, I got you.
That's Westbrook though. You're gonna get those, man. You and me have to probably have been like, you might be the only other dude I know that defends Westbrook.
Man, I go to war for Westbrook. Yeah.
Everyone else is like, whether it's a novice basketball fan or the most, everyone just, he's the trouble of the team. And I'm sitting back and I'm just like, okay, break down what happened to Westbrook over the last 8 years. Okay, so he was with KD.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They went up against Golden State 3-1, and they lose it, right? KD bounces. Yeah. Westbrook still gets that team to the playoffs.
Now, did they go first round or second round exit that year? First round.
First
Okay,
round.
got it.
But people forget, I think that was the year where your boy Robeson shot 15% from the free throw line and was airballing 3-pointers.
Yes.
So
Next season.
Y'all, I'm assuming we've all played sports. I'm only passing to you, but so many times before I just go, you know what? Hey, if I'm the best player on the court, I much rather miss the shot than pass to you. I'm just.
That's Kobe. Kobe's like, look, if I got as good of a chance of making it as you, and I'm giving you an open pass, like I might as well take the shot. I want to jump in on what you're saying about Westbrook real quick, because I want to know the most important year in your conversation is actually the year they picked up Paul George. I just want to remind everybody, as I always do, in a game where they needed to win, Paul George shot 2 for 18 from the field, matched with Carmelo shooting 3 for 9. I'm just saying, combined, they were 5 for 27 in a necessary game. How is that Russell Westbrook's fault? Even almost.
And he got blamed for the whole thing.
But here's what I'm thinking, though. He got blamed outside of Oklahoma. Everyone in Oklahoma that I know, like my homegirls on a basketball pod with another company, they all ride and die for Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? They know it's not his fault. They know who's screwing up. They didn't like, they weren't too fond of Paul George and Melo, but they were happy they came because they're in Oklahoma. What else is there to do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
What I found most interesting too is even after that, so I noticed this pattern, right? So they went 3-1 in Oklahoma City, like with Durant, and they lost. Durant goes to the team that basically did that.
Yeah.
Then Paul George comes. Paul George gets lit up by Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
Knowing Lillard is shooting, he's been shooting from that spot the whole playoffs. He pulled his Curry out his butt and said, yo, y'all gonna have to play me out here. Yeah. George, you are a two-way, so you're considered one of the best two-way players in the league. You thought it was a good idea to run back to the free throw line. And then recover.
Terrible defensive ideology.
As he's pushing the ball. And then you leave. You ask to leave the following year.
Yeah.
Every time. Westbrook.
Why not send 2 players and get the ball out of his hands?
That's a coaching move. There's just so many things you could do there. I'm just looking at simply the one player who was supposed to be responsible for that dude and considered the defender of that team.
Didn't he get switched off onto him though?
No.
He just came off the court. He came up off the court.
He brought the ball to the court. Yeah, he was assigned to him because remember the press conference after where Paul George was like, it was a bad shot. Yeah, he was assigned to him.
And he's notorious for saying stuff like that. Oh, it was a bad shot. Oh, they didn't play me in the right position. I should have. Come on, dude. So I think is in a good. I think him and Bradley Beal are actually going to be really exciting to watch. I don't know what happens with them, placement wise, but
I have them at 7th.
I think that dude. They got a rookie over there, Huchimara.
Yeah,
second year dude. I drafted him. He was great last year for a rookie. He's out for 3 weeks though. He's out for 3 weeks with an eye injury.
Wait, did you draft him because he's half Japanese?
Yes.
Okay. That's fair.
2 years in a row, I did it because he's half Japanese. And my friend's like, hey man, I gotta keep our half and halves together. You know what I'm saying? I'm a half and half kind of dude.
Okay.
Yeah. Team light skin and team half and half.
And they picked up. I wrote his name down. What's his name? They in the draft.
Denny Avdija. Are you talking about him?
So I saw
Avdija?
this thing. Yeah, and I saw this thing with Tony Parker, your friend. I don't know how much you love him, but he made a good point though, to a degree. He was saying that he felt that the dude's agent did not do right by him in regards to his marketability to the league, his accessibility to the league. And after I watched one preseason game. I didn't get a chance to see the game, but he looked like he had some things that might have moved him up in the draft if the knowledge was out there.
Sure.
So him playing, I think, with Westbrook, and playing with Beal. I think this is going to be an interesting thing. I don't know if it keeps Beal there next year.
That's a fair argument.
They won't need him because they're running. They got 3 of our Lakers on there, and they're getting minutes right now. They got Bonga, who's supposed to be a defensive wonder, and they got Bryant, who's also chucking up threes, man. And he's on the blocking shots. And then you got Mo. You got Mo coming off the bench, chucking up threes, and who got handles for a 6'10" dude.
Yeah.
Their problem, though, you know what their problem's going to be, and this is what I noticed watching the game. The parts that I saw, they're not very efficient inside.
Yeah, not at all.
They lack efficiency inside. They're going to get eaten up when they play the 76ers, possibly Miami with Bam.
They signed Lopez, though. They signed the other Lopez brother, so that's why they brought
Robin Lopez.
Okay.
Yeah, to kind of go out there and take some hits.
And also, we all know Westbrook's going to take some hits. He's going to talk a lot of ish.
Yeah.
And then
he put somebody on the ground with a crossover.
Yes. He put Simmons on the ground.
Yeah, he did.
Simmons is on his back so you see, look at the replay. Simmons on his back it's going to be on Sports. And you can see in his face, it's going to be on Sports Center.
Well, he was pushed off, and I watched it a million times. He didn't push off.
No, you got to take that L. You got to take that L, bro. You just got to take it.
Just take it.
Do the Ty Lue thing, man. Just lay there. Just lay there and just get stepped over. Just let it happen, yo. There's nothing you can do about it. All right.
Why did that not become a dance?
We didn't have that.
Why did the Ty Lue not become a dance?
I don't know.
I feel like somebody should have turned that into a dance.
We wasn't there yet. The internet wasn't popping like that yet.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go, I'm gonna ask both of y'all the same question or whatever. It's real simple question. Who is in the finals this year?
Ooh, sheesh. We going there right now.
Yeah.
We definitely going to revisit this in
of course. We all of us are gonna jump back on, man. I want to make this a thing, man. I love talking to y'all about this.
Right now, as it stands, based on what I've seen, even though they didn't play anybody, healthy, no COVID issues, I'm gonna say the Lakers versus.
He want to say Miami so bad.
You know what? I do, but I can't because that power forward thing scares me. I love the grit and the grind. I can't. I'm gonna say Brooklyn.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, Brooklyn looked I just forget that they took the team without KD and Kyrie to the playoffs.
Yes, they did. They did.
And now they've added them to, and from that one game, I saw KD tell Karis LeVert, I believe, shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And that's big.
He want to win. KD wants to win.
If he's telling the others, yo, fuck all that. Shoot.
Yeah. Well, he's got a lot to prove. To prove. Winning with this team does the proving that he wants. Yo, Jay, who do you have in the play? I'm sorry, not playoffs. Who's in the finals this year?
We all know Lakers for the West.
So we all know.
Only thing that can stop us is injury and Rona. Those are the only two things that can stop us.
Well, and the lack of a backup center, but I digress. Continue.
Yeah,
we're gonna pick up somebody. We're gonna get somebody in the when they start waving, folks. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry. Right. We're gonna pick up at least two more dudes.
Okay.
If we keep Wesley Matthews on the squad to the finals, something's wrong.
It's a scary world out there, bro.
Dude,
I think y'all stuck with him. I think y'all gonna have him for the whole year.
I think we have to really hope that, and I think I'm looking at McKinney as my early hopeful for a defensive player at that position, just because of his physicality. But not to step on you, man. Who do you have in the finals this year?
In the East, minus COVID and minus injury, I think it might be the 76ers finally get there for the first time.
Word.
I don't think Milwaukee has enough real dudes on that squad, and I'm still worried about Kyrie's knees and the Slim Reaper's Achilles.
Okay. Word up. All right, man. We got to wrap it up. Yo, you guys, thank y'all for chilling with us, man. A few folks, man, seem like y'all just chilled the whole time, and that's dope. This has been What's in the Box Trek. There'll probably be a new name because I want to make sure that these brothers are involved in it. So there's that. I looked up hip hop and hoops, and it's already been taken, so I got to pick up something. Gotta figure out something else. But you rocking with my man Opoetik. Please pick up his record, Dap Days. You can pick that up on opoetik.bandcamp.com. And of course, my man, the myth, the legend, Mr. J Logic, the man who first allowed me to open as a DJ, actually at the Tangier, let me open for DJ Jedi. He pulled me pretty quickly. I thought I was rocking, but he actually let me do it. Yeah, he did.
I didn't pull you. I don't pull nobody. I just let Cat. I tell everyone this is your time slot, and then I bet you know what happened. I bet you Jedi walked over and said, "Hey, Jason, I need to get on." I bet you anything it was Jedi that walked over and yo. I mean, Logic said, "I need to get on, dog," because that's what he did. He would like throw someone's name in and then hop on for extra minutes.
All right, yeah, that's what he did to me because I thought I got pulled, but you did let me continue to rock, so I appreciate that. It actually got me into the.
But like I was saying, like you kept the party going when I was like, yo, you got to come MC and do this every month with us. You know what I'm saying? Because you kept the vibe going, like because ladies didn't know what to do with themselves sometimes if it got too hip hop in there.
Yeah,
and you gave them instructions, ladies, two-step. You right there, do that. You right there, shake that. Hey, you with the ball.
Party instructions.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was my conductor.
Word up. Mr. J Logic will be streaming soon on here as well. We're gonna make sure we do that. So we'll catch y'all next time. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, Jay.
If you shoot me your email, I'll send you my album.
Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna whisper you right now.
Yeah.
Word up. All right, y'all. Thank y'all very much, man. This has been What's in the Box Trek with my man Op and my man J Logic. We'll check y'all next time. Peace, y'all.
Peace.